I'm going to ask this question, not just about the Alabama game, but in preparation for the entire season.
Yeah.
Once we hit August camp, which we're about 6 weeks away.
I can smell it, Mark.
Just about 6 weeks away. We'll go to ACC Media Days about a week or so before that. And then once that hits, I know at least the way I view college football, and I got to dive into those media days, and I got to be listening to every coach and every player and trying to cut videos. And we're not just talking about the ACC. Like I'm watching all of them across the country. So, man, I'm on a full train ride after that from media days through the national championship game nonstop. So once we hit August camp, what unit, of course, you're going to be like everybody else in the position where you're just trying to get information, just trying to get as much video, as much information as you can to know what's going on. But if you could be right there in the middle of all of it, you know, what group would you be looking at thinking this is the group that really needs to work hard, improve, and get prepared for this season? Like if we let you into camp with a pass, but you could only follow one positional group. You couldn't go watch anybody else. You had to lock in for 30 days and follow one positional group the entire time.
Oh man,
and give us a scouting report.
When you said that, I gotta switch it because I would want to be able to be in the mud with this one. I'm gonna say cornerbacks, man. Everyone's on linebacker, and I get that. But if you're telling me I get a chance to, I get to be a fly on the wall, Mark. I get to come into film. I get to go out to one-on-ones. I get to go to 9-on-9 and 7-on-7 in full, and I get to sit with one coach and evaluate one position. I'm definitely going to sit there with DVD/T-Rob and watch these cornerbacks. As a big man who's been in the fronts my entire life, the only furthest I've gone back is linebacker and fullback. That's it. But either way, that position is so intricate. We gotta have it. We have to have it. It's not just a Bama game. That position has been putrid at Miami for a decade. Now, yes, you could bring up a couple guys who've done well, okay? Yeah, you could turn out Artie Burns. You could talk about Corn Elder. You could talk about Malik Young. But as a whole, okay, not anomalies. We're talking about the larger percentage. Bro, man, cornerback has been putrid in recruiting. Cornerback has been bad on the football field. That position, Mark, we're in Malik Jackson, not Malik Jackson. Michael Jackson was a really good one too. Trajan Bandy had a good season. That's it. But you got to do it, man. You got to be able. We have to have that big step up, and I think it comes from the intangibles. We've had some guys who are long, strong. We've had shorter, quicker guys. We've had the high football IQ guys. We have not been able to develop them as a whole just yet. And that's where we needed a position like cornerback, man, because it's nothing like being able to have them locked down corners, Mark. It's nothing like it. It's not the easiest thing in the world. I understand that. I think cornerback is one of the hardest positions to play in sports, period.
Sure.
Because, Mark, you take one play off, you can lose the freaking game. Like the one play, you're like, I'm kind of tired. And a dude jogs off the line and then pew, flies right past you.
Yeah.
Like, man, it can be tough out there.
Absolutely. You know, yeah, those guys, when they say you're out on an island, that's exactly, you know, whoever came up with that term came up with a pretty good way to describe it, because you got all that grass around you, just grass on either side of you, behind you, and you're staring at an elite athlete in front of you who can do whatever he wants. You don't know where he's going. And with the way these passers are are drilling them in there these days and throwing in tight windows, you can even be on him most of the time. But between the skill of the thrower and the ability of the receiver, even if you're right on him, to high point the ball, wrestle it away from you, pluck it out of the air. Yeah, tough position to play.
Cornerback that's tough, man. And it's a position that I also think me and Dante Colon speak often. Dante is a frequent of the channel and your channel, a lot of channels, honestly. And he says that he thinks cornerback is one of the worst coached positions also. You got a lot of guys who are just like, oh, well, you fast, just turn around and look for the ball. Coach, teach me. Okay, teach me how to read routes. Teach me how to understand route combinations and down and distance and formations. Teach me how to read tendencies and certain stances that wide receivers come out of. You know, be able to have that great conversation with your defensive coordinator. You guys sit and watch film. You're like, hey, I know this offensive coordinator. He's a wide receiver guy. He's going to have his receivers on point. But on certain downs, they're going to give it away. Because when he comes out in certain packages, they're going to cheat a little this way, and then they're going to have that slant, and they're going to try to rub you. So what you got to do is go over top. Don't go over underneath because you're not going to catch it. Go over top. Make sure you keep your shoulders parallel to that first down, and the ball will be right there. Look, those type of things. You got to be able to have that true coaching at that position, and it's not an easy position to coach because there's so many factors that can happen in a cornerback in a simple play. I mean, heck, you could play the great coverage, and you could be running stride for stride, and it's Andre Johnson, and they just do a fade route. And you're like, all right, you just got to jump and see what happens. And you put the hand up there, you're trying to rake it, but his grip strength, and he just rakes it away from you. And you just like, I don't even know. I don't know. I'm sorry, coach. You just got to get up, and it's another one of those positions where you got to have amnesia. You know, you got to be able to let that one play that you gave up go, hop up, and if you get beat, make the damn tackle, and then hop up and get the next call because the game is going like this, man, and you can't let something like that really mess with your head. And it's not the easiest thing. But
if I'm watching a game where I've got no rooting interest, and I'm just watching football and just want to see a good game, you know, those are the guys that I love to watch, and those are the guys I love to watch all the positions, obviously. But in regards to what you just said, I feel bad when I see that cornerback who did everything right, everything he possibly could, but that ball was placed exactly where it needed to be, and that receiver was just elite and just wrestled it away from him. It is a tough position to play. I do not envy those guys whatsoever.
It's wild, man, because, of course, like I said, being a big guy my whole life, it's like, yeah, bro, just catch the dang ball. Like, we talk about wide receivers, just catch the ball. Like, it's not hard. You got to do is ring route, catch the ball. Then you talk about cornerbacks. It's like, bro, don't let him catch the ball. That's it. Just swap the ball down. Don't let him catch the ball. Then I got into coaching, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, that's not easy. That's not easy to do. And you talk about having to cover, you're going backwards at the same speed as someone is building up going forward, and you don't know where they're going. They could go inside, they go outside, they could turn back around, they could stop and go. They can fake out and cut back in. Any little step you give up to step out of place, they have a step on you, and now you have to. Man, you got to be able to be greatly coached. And I think T-Rob is one of those names. You know, it's a tough position when there's only like a handful of greats who you know have developed and produced really good ones. That's how you know the position is not easy at all. You got Corey Raymond, Coach Raymond at LSU. He's a big name. A lot of people after that talk about T-Rob. LSU's cornerback coaches. That's T-Rob. Ohio State is who I'm talking about. The cornerback coach at Ohio State. They've been producing just like over the last 5-6 years. I think they've had like 4 first-round corners, 3 first-round safeties. Like DB is pretty big there too. So there's only a couple. Even at Alabama, as great as the positions that they've had, cornerback has not been one of them. Like safety has been really good. You had Cyrus Jones a couple years ago. He was more of a punt returner, but he was a nickel corner guy also. It's it's a tough one.